Hello and welcome to another one of our how-to videos. This particular video is going to be talking about our new module, the Club Subscription Manager, or as we just call Subscriptions Manager. If you've not watched the how-to video before, the principal idea behind it is these videos are they're unscripted. And the goal is to get as much information over to you as we can. The idea being, it's just as if you were sitting next to me and I was just whizzing around the site, showing you everything that you needed to know for a certain function. So yeah, as I say, not scripted. I've got a couple of notes of things we need to show, and I just sort of whack through them as quick as I can, show you as much detail as I can as I'm going through it, and then if you send your feedback in, if there are any elements of the system you think we didn't cover fully, or other areas that you think we should expand on, then we will pop up additional videos to help supplement this particular video. So this is the club subscription videos. I should stop saying club subscriptions. I mean, he's primarily designed for clubs, but theoretically, what it does is it enables an organisation to charge its members generally a fee for membership. So it is technically just as likely to be used by a league, or even potentially a county if they wanted. If you're an organisation that have got members in your list, and you have an annual payment for some kind of membership, then the system is potentially going to be good for you. So, as you'll see on your screen, this is the TT365 interface, which you hopefully will be used to using by now. This is the dashboard, and this here is a little sort of advert for the new module itself. So what's it say? Introducing Subscription Manager. Manage your club's own membership and subscriptions and Talbot England's membership in one place. Now that's kind of like quite a key point in all of this. And one of the reasons why we have developed this system. Many leagues and clubs out there, they have, obviously you have to do the Talbot England element of membership. So if you're affiliated to your governing body, then you have a requirement to make sure all your members are affiliated to them. So you'll all be used to using Membership Manager and going on and making sure all of your members have paid their fees before they play in the league, or if you're a club, then making sure that all your members are registered and associate members as a minimum. So hopefully that concept of you holding access to a member's details and then being able to manage that membership on behalf of Talbot England, hopefully you're already aware of that concept. So really what we've done is we've said, well, why would you then go ahead and, as many leagues and clubs do, and have a separate database duplicating almost everything you've already got, to keep a separate system for your own club or league? As I say, many clubs and leagues have contacted us over the years saying, well, why can't we just use this system to record that our members have paid their membership fee for the club as well as they've paid the membership fee for Talbot England? And in essence, that at its most fundamental is what this system does. So what if you're used to using Membership Manager already? This is probably not, once it's set up, is not going to be much of a change for you at all. You'll notice when we get into the screens a little bit later on that you'll just find there are extra buttons, extra tabs that are not normally there that will suddenly appear, and you'll use those in a very similar manner to how you would manage the Talbot England things. So free to use. Yes, it is free to use. This is another free module from TT365. It has been quite an undertaking on our behalf. Originally, we thought this would be maybe 3 or 4 weeks' work, and we would just throw it up for you, and it would be very useful. However, as we've been developing this system, it's become quite clear that there are many little different facets to a membership, and as we'll get into the detail later, you'll see we've made quite a lot of effort now, but quite a lot of effort into developing the system to be flexible. So hopefully we'll be able to do everything that you will need it to do. It's taken the best part of 3 months now to get this system fully operational, and the goal of this video really, which I probably should have said earlier, is to not only to show you how to use it, obviously in the hope that you will start using it for your own clubs and leagues, but really to just explain to you what it's all about, explain why you might use it, how you could use it, those kinds of things. And again, I repeat myself, this is not scripted, so if I will probably end up going over things I've already said before. I find with these types of videos that, you know, sometimes I will go over things once or twice, or I'll say things and have to correct myself. But I can get one of these videos done and out quite quickly. The more traditional videos that we've done in the past, they tend to take a huge amount of time to produce and get them right, and often the speeds at which our system changes, we will find we'll put huge amounts of effort into producing a video, and then the next thing you know, it's out of date. So these kind of how-to videos for me, I really like them, and it also feels as if I'm sort of talking more directly to you when I present in this type of way. So yeah, it's free to use, been a lot of effort on our behalf, and we really hope that you're going to like the features that we'll show you in a moment, and that you'll look to start to make the full use of it going forward. So it does say easy and fast to set up. Well, that obviously is the goal of all of our software, is to make it as easy to use as possible, and to not make you jump through too many hoops in order to be able to get started. As far as I'm concerned, I think it is pretty easy to use, and I obviously can get through it quite quickly now I know how to use it. However, this particular module is quite comprehensive, and when we get into the nuts and bolts, you'll see how many options there are and how many different ways in which you can use the system. You're not going to be up and running in 5 minutes, put it like that. You're going to need to watch this video thoroughly. You may need to potentially refer back to certain aspects of it as you go through the setup process. But of course, once you've done that setup process, the beauty of this is, because it's integrated with the existing membership system, then the actual day-to-day running and usage of this system, you will find, adds so little to your workload. You will really see the benefit of using it once you're up and running. So we've got a self-service member profile, and basically what we're saying there is that, you know, this doesn't just have to fall on the administrator. What we've done is we've taken the view that this is individual membership, just like Table Tennis England. It's just your own clubs or leagues membership. So why should the member not have some responsibility and ability to be able to manage their own membership? So what we've done is basically almost duplicated the kind of functionality that a player would have from Table Tennis England's perspective, and given the same to you, delivered through your website. So a player can log on, they can log on through your website, assuming of course you use TT365, because that's how this system is delivered. So they log on through your 365 website, they will log in using their existing membership number and password that they use for Table Tennis England, so there's nothing else for them to remember, and the system remembers you logged in anyway, so really it's actually very, very simple for them to get in. They will then see, once you've set the system up, they'll see a membership tab which doesn't exist on your site right now, and they'll get the ability to look at their own membership data. They can buy their membership through the website, as you'll see later on. And the next point down is accept online payments. So they will be able to go on and buy membership for your club with a online payment method if you want. So if you want to start accepting credit cards or debit cards, you can do that through this system. Also, we have direct debit support now. So if you want to have all of your members for your club set up on a direct debit, then you can just take the money from their bank annually, save you having to do a lot of the chasing for subscriptions every year. I'm hoping that that's going to be a pretty popular module that we've now got support for. You'll have the ability through the existing email functionality, which is bolted into the club subscription manager, to enable you to email all of the unpaid members. So you can, with one click, you can send an email to all the people that have not yet renewed for the new season. Easy to chase people that are effectively delinquent in their renewals. There are elements of financial reporting through the finance tab, where you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to see reports on how much money you've taken, how that money's come in, whether it's come by online payments or whether you've had it via direct debit. And also importantly, it's not just online payments. You will also have the ability, as you'll see later, to be able to set the system up so that people can renew their membership online, thus taking all of the work from your perspective out of the equation. But if they don't want to pay online, they'll still have offline payment methods available to them. So we have support for bank transfer. So if a player wants to renew online but doesn't actually want to make a payment via a credit card, they can tell you that they're going to do a bank transfer, and then the renewal element of it is done for you, and then you just need to wait for the money to come in. And when the money comes in, you record that you've received it against the effectively the sales order that will already be open within the system, and then you're done. Same thing goes with the check. If they want to send you a check through, when it lands on your mat, it's just a case of going into their record, marking it as having been received, and then they become a paid member at that point. So the last point on this little slide here is all you need in one place. And hopefully, if you think we've done a good job of this particular module, that will prove to be true. So let's find out. So here we go. First of all, you're going to have access to TT365. So hopefully you've already got that. If not, there are many routes to achieve that. If you get stuck, a quick email to support@talbotandhis365.com, and one of the guys will get back to you quite quickly and help you get up and running. You're going to need to have your public website turned on as well. That's quite key in all of this, because it's delivered through a public website. So this is one I set up earlier in Blue Peter fashion. Took about 30 seconds to stand this up, and this is what it looks like out of the box. So I think it looks pretty good, just to for a starter. So what I should say is this: you can use the club subscription module in one of two ways. You can use it fully, in which case your players will be able to renew online through your website, etc., and get the full benefit of the system, including taking direct debits and taking online credit card payments, etc. Or if you don't have a TT365 website and it's just not something you're prepared to move to, then you can still use elements of this system to manage membership. But obviously you can't be taking credit card payments through our software if you're not actually going to use it. So but you will have the ability, however, to record data against the record. So a player would still be able to pay you via any means that you want. However, what would happen is you would go to their record and you would simply mark them, give them the membership subscription yourself, then say how they've paid. So effectively you have sort of like the minimum functionality that you need at any point to be able to say how many paid members have we got at this point in time, or who's unpaid at this point in time. All of that functionality is available to you, and you don't need a TT365 public website to be able to use that. But as I say, if you want to get the full benefit of this system, you would need to have the full module turned on. So if you haven't got the actual 365 website turned on for your club yet, or your league, if you go to the website tab, click on any of these links, basically you're going to get a little page pops up which is just giving you some information about what it is. You click a link at the bottom and then bingo, it's up and running, and within like literally 2 minutes this is what you're going to get out of the box. Okay, so you're then going to need to look at activating the club membership. Now that's pretty simple. So if you click on the little club membership graphic, you're going to get this little page which is sort of trying to give you some more information, I suppose, on what the module is all about. Hopefully I've actually done a reasonable job of covering all of this already. And if you wanted to pause the video, you could read all of that now while it's on the screen, or obviously you can read it at the point of activation. I'm just going to go ahead now and activate this module. I should say, for the purposes of this video, what I've done is I've just stood up a dummy club called Club 365. It's on the live system. When this video is over, I will go in and remove it and clean up any elements that I have I've set up along the way. But now what we'll see is that that's activated successfully, and we should technically be ready to go. So, okay, first things first. This ultimately is a module based around members for membership. So really, you need some members. If you don't have any members in your database, then you're not really going to get that far with this module. So I've just I'm in there already because I'm the administrator of this particular club I've set up, and I've just grabbed a couple of dummy records that I found floating around in the Town Tennis England database, which I will delete after this video. You'll notice this is Membership Manager. Now, if you're used to using Membership Manager, you will see a couple of subtle differences here. When I edit this down and look to push it out, I might see if I can highlight some of these in a bit of red. We'll see. But you've got this column here, which is the membership number. This is Town Tennis England's membership number. We're going to get to membership numbers later on, but with this system you can choose to adopt that membership number as your own within your club or league, or if you really want to, you can have your own membership number also. That's your choice. My personal view is one membership number is just easier for the player, and I can't see, you're never going to get duplicates, so I can't see the benefit in your club having its own membership numbers unless you've got a historic system and you want everybody to keep the numbers that they've already got. Okay, so that's the TTE membership number column. Names doesn't change, but now you've got these extra two columns here. Now, TTE summary, your summary. So hopefully it's pretty obvious what it is. This here you should be used to seeing. So you've got your little icon which tells you that this records is an associate member. You've got unpaid flags all showing up here. And then you've got another column here for your summary. And effectively what this is a duplicate of this column here. Okay, and as we start to over time put data in, these should all start to change in colours. You should get different types of badges all showing up here as well, and all of this you should be already familiar with. You'll also notice there's been a subtle change here to the filters. I know when we made this change a month or so ago, we did have a few people asking why some of the filters had gone. They haven't disappeared, they've just simply been, we've refactored this to try and make it a little bit easier for you. So you've got some basic filters here. These are common to both Town Tennis England and your own subscription. So these are things relating to sort of personal data that's been stored. So, you know, the gender of the player in question, age, range, searches, email options, etc., etc. When you click into the TTE subscriptions, you'll see these should look familiar to you. They used to be on the previous tab, but this just enables you to, do simple searches by different statuses and also look at different types of membership from Table Tennis England. When you click on the club subscriptions, you'll notice it looks practically it is identical, except the content of these boxes will be slightly different. Now this theoretically, empty, as it should be, because right now we haven't got any membership types for our club defined. But as we define them, they will appear in here, and then you will use them in the exact same way as you do for Table Tennis England. Again, subscription statuses, membership status, all the same. Purchase paths, groups, age groups, etc. Oh yeah, and age groups, something else which you will also be able to define yourself. So you don't have to inherit Table Tennis England's age groups. You can define your own. But again, I'll go into that in a moment. So that really is. Hopefully, you can see that if you're used to using Membership Manager, this is not going to be a big adjustment for you at all. Okay. And when we get to the point where you want to add a subscription to a member in the exact same way as you would add for Table Tennis England, clicking buy, you'll notice you've got the option to buy for your own. And when we click that button, you get a list of all your subscriptions. But we'll go over that in more detail a little bit later on. So, setting up. You've activated the module. I've given you a quick demo of the basics of how the membership index has changed. Let's look at getting set up. And just taking a quick look now, I'm at 21 minutes on my clock. I fully expect this video to be in excess of an hour minimum. I do apologise if you were expecting it to be sort of over by now, but as I say, there's a huge amount to show you, and rather than doing 10 separate videos, I've opted to just go with one big long video, and anything that gets missed off we'll cover off in a separate video. So you've got this new subscription menu item here, which you won't yet be used to seeing. So, the first thing really that you would probably want to do is go and look at the settings. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So, lots and lots of different types of settings. Now, I am obviously, to demonstrate this properly, you're going to have to set some of this stuff up. So, I might be doing this pretty quick, or I might just cut the video if I'm doing things you don't really need to be aware of. I might cut the video so you don't have to sit there watching me set it all up. So this is quite an important one here, basing your age group on the current date. Really, we don't expect anyone to actually use this particular aspect. We would expect that to be no. Hence, that's the default. No is the default. Okay. We would be expecting you to be basing your membership on a membership year, much the same as Table Tennis England runs 1st of August to the 31st of July. We would expect your club or league to be running on a similar basis. So, you don't have to use the 1st of August. If you wanted to set it to the 1st of September, that's fine, no problem. But the principle is, if you leave that no, it's going to expect you to give it a date and a month, which is going to be the start of your membership year, and then everything from that point on will work on the basis of one calendar year from that date. So if we go ahead and set it to the 1st of August, so that's a date I quite think is nice for table tennis. 1st of August, so that will automatically run from one calendar year now to the 31st of July the following year, and that just rolls on year on year on year. Quickly, if you were to set this to yes, basically what it means is how the system would work is it would just say, right, your membership starts on the day you buy it and it expires 1 year later, assuming of course that you set up your subscriptions in that way, which again we'll go over a little later on. But the idea basically is if you just wanted to have a situation where you buy a membership and it lasts for as long as it lasts, then you would have to turn that option to yes. But within table tennis organisations, I'm yet to really see many clubs at all that would operate on that basis. Generally, you have a membership year, and you become a member for that year, and then you renew for the following year, and that seems to be the norm, certainly as far as is the case where I'm based. So, a few more options. You've got the option for pro-ratering, so you can pro-rata the subscriptions if you want. This is just a simple yes or no option. I think personally, in my opinion, pro-ratering new subscriptions is a good idea, because if you've got a new person come to your club, and your membership year is running 1st of August, and they come in sort of the summer and join in sort of like May, June, and then you turn around to them and say, well, you've kind of got to pay £50 now, or however much your membership is going to be for the year, and you're only going to get 2 months worth of value out of that. I don't personally think that's very fair, and I also think that can be quite off-putting. So doing a pro rata is a really nice way to be fair to new members and attract new members to your club or your league. Our pro rata system works on a day basis. So what we'll do is we take your total value divided by 365 days, and then we will look at how long's left on the subscription, work out the appropriate price for how long's left, and charge the member basically the balance. Now, you also have the option for pro-ratering renewals. I have the opposite view of this. I don't think you should be pro-ratering new renewals. However, we try and make the system as flexible as possible. So if you do, then you can. It's just a case of clicking yes to that option. In my own area, I would expect that if we had pro rata on renewals, we would probably find that we lose the first month or 2 months of the membership during the summer, as most of our players don't would start playing again until sort of September, October. So if they think they can get away without having to pay the first 2 months of their subscription, they probably will. So I would not particularly recommend using that, but if you want to do that, you have the option. Right. So let's just set that there, leave that one off. Has this upgrade fee, use upgrade fee. Well, I quite like this because you have the option, if you want, within our software to upgrade as you go. So if you have different tiers of membership, and not everyone will, but Tableton's England do. They have 3 tiers of membership. So you can have a free associate membership, you can have a player membership, and then you can have a licensed membership. So if you join and you become a player, you pay your money, and then at some point during the season you determine that you're going to play British League and that you then need a license to do that, you can just pay the difference between what you've already paid and the license cost, which I think that's fair, and that's the way it should be. However, there are in some cases good reasons why you may want to charge an additional upgrade amount with that. I don't know, maybe if you send out membership cards or additional packaging via post, or maybe have processing costs that you need to factor in. So when you do an upgrade, you may experience additional costs. Then you have this option. So if you want to charge an upgrade fee, you simply set the option to yes. We'll stick a £2 upgrade fee. So, if I've got a £10 membership and I want to jump up to a £30, it's £20 difference, but I'm also now going to have to pay the extra £2 because I went the upgrade route. If I'd have gone straight to the £30 membership at the start of the year, I would never have had to pay that. Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. And I have tried, and I and my team, because this is not all just coming from me, I tried to really put as much information into these help icons as we possibly can, to really try and help you understand what they're for, what the options are for, and how you should be looking to use them. So my opinion and my view, I suggest that you read the help. That's why we put it there, so that you can actually hopefully avoid making any mistakes on the setup. Right, so I mentioned membership numbers earlier, didn't I? Well, if you want to use your own membership number, there you go. That's pretty much it. You've said you do. Anywhere now with the system where it references membership numbers for your club, you would use your own membership number. Now, just bear in mind that the main reason why we expect you would want to use your own membership numbers is because you've already got a membership system and you don't want to reallocate everybody new numbers. In that scenario, it's just impractical for us to manage the membership number element of it for you. So on every membership record that you edit, you would have to manually put in the membership number for that player. And you would have to manually ensure that you're not going to be getting duplicate numbers for different players. That's something you would have to just manage yourself. As I say, my view is in an ideal world, you don't use your own number, you just adopt the number of the NGB that you're with, whether it's England or Scotland, Wales, whatever, and let the player just have one number to remember. I mean, a lot of players find it difficult to remember just the one number, so giving them multiple numbers is just, adding unnecessary effort from their perspective. So that's up to you. And if you want an alias, you can. That's, again, your choice. Table Tennis England used to have aliases, P for player, L for license, etc. They eventually backed off from that. They didn't really see a huge value in that. But, again, it's your choice. The functionality is there. If you want to use it, you just type in the alias there. Entirely up to you. I'm going to turn that off, however, because I don't really like the membership number ideas. So, two other elements of this particular section: your age group management. Hopefully this is pretty obvious what it is. So we've made this system as flexible as we possibly can. Table Tennis England and again Table Tennis Scotland and all other countries as well, they have their own defined age groups and they're pretty standardised. You have cadets, you have juniors, you have seniors, you have veterans. But again, not all clubs are the same. I do know some clubs have over 60s membership fees, which are different to the senior membership fee. I know there are some clubs that will do a free membership for under 13s. So basically what we've done is we've enabled you to define this as you see fit. So all you really need to do is set your system up with some age groups. So let's just do that quickly now. I'm going to keep it really simple for the purpose of the demonstration, but you can get as as creative as you want. So I'm just going to create a junior age group, and I'm going to define the minimum age as 0 and the maximum age as 18, and it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and that will be on the date of your membership renewal, your membership year. Okay, I've added that in. Note it hasn't saved yet. I've still got to save it, which I will do at the end, but I'm going to add in another one here, and I'm just going to do senior, and again I'm going to make it minimum age of 19, and I'm going to go to 40, and then I'm going to add one in for veteran, and I'm going to go 41, and I'm going to just leave that open. You don't have to. If you leave it open, it means there's no upper limit. Okay, so there you go, they're in. Now you can reorder, and you do reordering just by clicking and dragging, which hopefully you'll be familiar with from the menu. It is quite important that you get these in a logical order from the perspective of processing. It's also very important that you don't overlap the numbers, so you don't do 0 to 18 and then 18 to 40, because technically speaking what would happen is the member would be eligible for both of those membership types, which would be illogical, and the order in which you've got them here, effectively they would never get to see senior. They would fall into the junior, and they would never fall into the senior. So it's important you keep you need to take some time, get the age group set up correctly, because this will have a big impact on the system as you go forward. Now, finally, last bit, discount codes. We as I alluded to at the start of the video, this was supposed to be, a month's work max. It's turned out to be 3 times that amount of work because we kept adding stuff. One of the things that I thought would be really good to have is the ability to give discounts on your membership. Maybe to entice new members to come on board, or you might want to do a specific offer to try and get old members back into your club or your league or something like that. Or you might just find you have a situation where you need to give someone a discount for a reason, for any one of a number of reasons. I could think of, you might have an individual person that you've said you'd give a discount to for some unknown, irrelevant reason, and you can do that. So you would click add again, following a similar pattern. Notice nothing is saved at this point in time. I'm just going to create one, and I'm just going to say 20% off. And I'm going to keep this really simple. Just going to say there's 20% off. I'm auto generating a code there, but you can, if you wanted to, just type your own in. I'm generally not a massive fan of that because sometimes people can guess what they are. So that's just a random auto generated code that the system will produce for you if you want to use it. You can make your discounts have a start date and an expiry date. So I will make my my discount start on the 1st of October, and I will expire it on the actually I won't. What I'll do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my discount the 1st of August, and I'm going to expire it at the end of August. Actually, no, I'm not. That's what I would like to do in a real world scenario, but if I do that, you'd never get to see it. So what I'll do is I'll expire it for the 30th of November. But principally, I might use this particular thing to say, look, if you renew in the first month of the renewal of the season, we'll give you a discount. Just to help get the cash flow into the club and not have people, waiting until sort of the middle of October, November, and then you have to start chasing them. Sometimes it just makes sense just to offer people a small discount and say, come on, if you get your subscription renewed straight away, we'll give you a small discount on your annual subscription. Again, all of this is optional. You don't have to use any of this if you don't want to. Anyway, right, you've got a choice. I've said 20% off here. Well, obviously I can't give a rounding amount, so what I'll do is I'll just give a percentage of 20. Okay? But you could just say £5 off, and in which case you'd put 5 there and you'd null that out. Okay? Your choice. So you can give discounts by percentage or flat amounts. I'm going to allow this particular discount to be used multiple times, unlimited times, but you could just do a once use. So as I think I said earlier, if you had an individual person and you said, oh, if you join the club, I'll give you £20 discount to entice you to come and join in, or maybe you get a member that's doing a huge amount of coaching for you for free as a volunteer, and you feel that particular member should get some extra benefit. Maybe you've got £100 a year membership and you offer it for half price. You could just create a discount here, 50% discount, create it as a use once only, and then give that person that code, and when they check out to buy it, they get their membership at half price. And then finally, you can determine whether or not this discount is going to apply to new subscriptions only, renewals only, or both. Sometimes you might want to do a specific discount just for people that are doing a new subscription, and by new subscription we define that as somebody that's never had a subscription or a membership with your club before. Renewal would be the reverse of that, i.e. they have previously been a member at some point in the past, therefore they are deemed to be a renewal. Or you could just tick both and apply it to both. For simplicity, I'm going to apply it to both in this scenario, and I'm going to hit save. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave the one there for now. Right, we haven't yet saved this, so let's just go ahead and do that now. That's all saved. And then we've got this extra tab called website configuration. Now, we've done a fair bit of the setup for the system now, but as yet, the website is unchanged. So let's just look at some of the website configuration options. Now, as I said earlier, you don't have to use this element if you don't have a TT365 website and you're not prepared to make the move. Then we're not going to force you. Our goal is to keep filling our software with so much functionality that at some point in time you'll just take the view that, well, it's just a no-brainer now. Hopefully, we definitely will be continuing to work a lot more to improve the club module as time goes forward, and we've also got lots of exciting things planned for leagues over the next year or two as well. So yeah, it's your choice. But in this video, we're going to demonstrate how the whole system works. So yeah, we do want to integrate subscriptions module with your website. So yeah, click yes. Now, do you want to display membership information on page on your website? Now, let's just save that. Show you what happens. At the moment, we've only got one option ticked, but instantly, we've now got a new tab on our website. And there's a fair bit of info on there. Okay? So, as I said, profile, out the box. You get all these options. But of course, some of these have to be turned on. Okay? So, do you want to display membership information page on your website? Now, what this one is doing is saying, do you want to display some information about your membership? Now, how we envisage you using this particular module, this particular page, is to say, use it as an advertising page. You know, I've seen lots of club websites that have done a really good job of promoting their membership. You know, what benefit do you get from being a member of our club? You know, we got this activity on, and we got to do this type of thing, and you know, all these different benefits of being a member. Well, shout about it, tell everyone about it, turn the function on, and you get a editor, and you can, it's, you know, hopefully if you use TT365, you'll be used to this kind of thing anyway. This is a WYSIWYG editor, so basically if you want to just type some content there, it's, you know, works just like Word. If you're a bit more advanced with the knowledge of the web and HTML, you can edit the raw source code if you want. So you could theoretically design it a nice page in our external program like Dreamweaver or some other web development piece of software, and then just paste the HTML, raw HTML code in there, and it will just render quite nicely on the site. For now, we'll just leave it as some content. Do you want to show joining information on your website? Joining information, okay, what's that? Right, this option determines whether or not to show the join page, which depending on how you configure other options will show online and offline information. Well, really what this is saying is, do you want your members to be able to renew their subscriptions through your website? Well, there's a huge amount of granularity in this now. There's a lot more toggles going to start appearing as we go through this list. You don't have to do it the way we feel you should. My view is that the clubs should, you know, as a player, I would want to be able to go on, and I want to be able to do everything myself online, and I don't want to have to talk to the administrator of that club. I should be able to do everything I want to do myself and know it's done in one go. So in that scenario, I would say, yes, I do want to show joining information. You, on the other hand, you may not want to do that. You may just want to show the information about your membership on the site, let the members have basic access to the membership information, and that's it. That might be as far as you want to go. You might not want to take online payments or whatever, but that's up to you. But me, I would. So I'm going to now say, right, do you want to allow members to buy a subscription via your website? Well, yes, please. I definitely want to do that. And do you want to allow members to pay for subscriptions using online payments? So let me differentiate between these two. Do you want to let members buy a subscription through your website? Means, do you want a member to be able to go on, fill in their appropriate, you know, update their details if appropriate, go on and say, yes, I want to buy my membership, and get to the point where they get presented with a, how do you want to pay? And the how do you want to pay instantly is going to give you the options of bank transfer and check anyway. But I also would like to be able to offer other payment types as well. I would like to be able to offer the ability to pay by credit card, for example, or a direct debit. Okay. Now, we will come to these things that have started to appear as we've been ticking some of these boxes in a while. The last thing is, do you want to provide a download link for an offline application form. Well, this is for sort of like, the members that, are, they'll be more than happy to just print out a PDF form and fill it in and come up the club and give it to you with, 50 quid in an envelope. And, there's nothing wrong with those types of members that are not comfortable doing this kind of thing online through the website. I come from a generation where I would always want to do it myself online as quick as I can. But my dad, for example, would probably rather print the form off and put a cheque in an envelope, and he'd give it to the coach or the administrator at the club on the night. And there's nothing wrong with either approach, and with this system you will be able to account for either. So why not? Let's do that as well. So we will allow a download link for an offline application form. Of course, you're going to need the offline application form. So you're going to have created a Word document or a PDF with some kind of application form that they will fill. And later on, we'll show you how you'd upload that to your website. So as you'll see, you've got all these extra things now that you've got to fill in as a result of these toggles that you've set. So you'll notice you've got PayPal option, which is great. And incidentally, when we talk about PayPal, don't get too hung up and worried about PayPal. Just because you're going to use PayPal as a payment method doesn't mean that all of your members have got to rush out and set up a PayPal account in order to pay you. PayPal supports intrinsically the ability for anybody to just pay by a credit card via the same interface. Now, I have a PayPal account, so if I was to renew through your website, and I choose to pay by a credit card or PayPal, I would just just literally log into PayPal, click one button, and I'm done. That's all I have to do. So for me, PayPal is brilliant because it's really fast, really simple. If you don't have it, the other player may just get the credit card out, bang the details in. It all ends up in the same place. They all end up paying you the money, and that ultimately all goes into your PayPal account, which we'll cover in a minute. Go Cardless is the direct debit system. Again, I will go over that in a moment with you. And SagePay. SagePay is for taking credit cards. You have the option with PayPal, right? However, PayPal, as you'll discover later, all these things have transaction charges applied to them. I mean, the system is free as far as TT365 is concerned. We're not charging you to use this system. But if you're going to take payments online, then the reality now is no matter what you do or what system you use, you're going to get charged by these companies. Now, PayPal charged 3.4% on a transaction and a few pence transaction as well. Go Cardless, they also have a percentage transaction that they charge. The difference between PayPal and SagePay is that SagePay is a much more business orientated system. It's what Townsend's England use, but they would be processing thousands and thousands of renewals a year through their software. Therefore, it makes sense for them. They will be benefiting from a lower transaction rate because of the volume of transactions they go through. So unless your club is going to be doing hundreds and hundreds of renewals a year, it's highly unlikely that you would ever see the value in using SagePay. You'd save maybe 1% by using this particular module, but it's going to cost you a monthly fee. In fact, I'll go over all this in a little while. We're going to show you how to turn all that on in a second, so I'll go over that later. You'll notice these are not tickable anyway, and they're not tickable because we've not set them up. But I will go into that momentarily. But I will tick to accept bank transfer. Oh dear. Well, I did say this wasn't scripted. I've got a lot of other fields I've got to fill in which are mandatory before I can move on. Okay, right. So I make a note to myself that I've got a permission. Don't worry, by the time you get to use this system, I'll make sure that has been fixed. So I've got a permission issue on ticking bank transfer and check. I'll get that fixed. So we need to fill this in. Right, support information. You're operating a membership scheme now, and you have a requirement to be able to let the end user, i.e. your players and your members, know who to contact in the event that they're having an issue with renewing. So what we'll do is we'll just whack in for here support table tennis 365. Please don't put this into yours, because I don't particularly want to be fielding support inquiries from your members on your membership system. This should be your contact details that you're putting into this particular area. Okay. Payment settings. Now this is because we've turned on the ability to do bank transfers and check. So you need to know, if you're going to do a bank transfer, you need to know who you're going to send the money to. And when you get to that point in the checkout process, we would present the member with, if you want to do a bank transfer, this is where you need to send the money. So I'll just put some random stuff in here just to get through this. And yeah, if you want to send a check, well, who's the check going to be payable to? Well, send the check please to TT365. That obviously would be, actually technically that should be Club 365. And then that would be your club's name or your league's name. And again, checks payable to, post checks to. So this is my address. There you go. So put the address where you wanted to post the check. It's all obvious stuff. I probably didn't need to go through this with you. It should be really pretty obvious what all this is for. And the last thing is attaching an offline document. Now, as I said before, this is up to you if you wanted to do that. My view is it's worth doing if you've got one. If you have an offline application form already, it certainly doesn't hurt to make that available. You would click this here. It uploads in the exact same way as everything else does. You upload it to your media library, and then you attach the document and then save it, and then away you go. So there you go. That's all been saved now. Yeah, so that all looks okay. So we did say payment options are an issue. Okay, they're not tickable right now. So why aren't they tickable? Because we haven't got these particular payment options set up, and we're going to need to do that if you want to start taking credit cards and debits. And there is an element of work involved in doing that. I mean, it's not. I mean, PayPal's pretty simple, which I'll show you now. So if you go to the Finance tab, you should notice a new option called Payment Providers. Okay, right. So I'm going to have to probably pause the video at this point now, go and get that fixed, and then I can come back and carry on. Okay, I'm back. I've corrected the permissions issue at our end, so by the time you watch this and want to have a go, all those problems you've just seen will no longer exist. So where was I? Payment providers. Okay, so let's I need to recap. You guys obviously don't need to recap. I've shown you the settings and how we would turn the payment options on. However, a number of them were locked, and they were locked because we haven't enabled those providers within the TT365 software. Okay, so that's what we need to do as our next step. Now, when I was going through that, I was sort of talking about the different types that you can use. So here we go, PayPal. It is the largest online payment processor in the world. So for anyone that might be a little bit skeptical about, PayPal, not sure whether that's very good or safe, or maybe we shouldn't really be doing that. Well, it is used on hundreds of thousands of different sites all over the world, and it is widely acknowledged now as being very, very secure. It's also very popular. I love it. If there's an option to check out with PayPal on a website where I'm buying something, I would always choose that rather than choosing to put my credit card details in. Or frankly, if I'm using a website that I don't really know, I'd rather use PayPal, because then I'm not exposing my credit card details to a site I don't know. I'm simply using the PayPal interface, and again, I'm not even exposing my usernames and passwords to that site. All of it is done through PayPal, so it actually, I think, is brilliant. The downside to it, of course, is, as I would think I was saying, the cost. No, I mean, it's not a huge cost, and of course, the logical thing to do is to build these costs into your membership fees. And to be honest, I don't know what kind of bank account you have for your club, whether you've managed to get some kind of free banking or whatever. But from my perspective, when I get sent a cheque, it costs me the best part of £2 to bank a cheque. So if I put a cheque in for £2, I wouldn't make any money. You've got the bank want to charge me for the input, which is like 60p, and then it's like another like 70 pence to cash the cheque in the first place. And I always I post my cheques off to the bank, because otherwise I'd be paying £1.50 in parking to go down to the bank. So I'll stick a stamp on the envelope, and by the time I've sent the cheque to the bank, it's cost me £2. On bank transfers are obviously better, but again, not that many people seem to be that comfortable with paying by a bank transfer. So from my perspective, I don't think this PayPal is too bad. I mean, 20 pence off the top of any transaction you do through it, and then between 1.9 and 3.4 pence per transaction. Now, if you go to the PayPal site itself, all this is defined there. You can see the breakdowns, but at what point it goes from 3.4 down to 2.9, then 2.49, then it goes to 1.9. So it is pretty easy to sort of see at what point. However, I will say, for you to be getting close to sort of like the I think it's £1,500, I think, to get just to 2.9%. And if you want to get, and that's per month, by the way, and if you want to get down to close to 1.9, you're talking like tens, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of transactions to get down that. And that's what I said earlier below. You have to be putting significant amounts of traffic through SagePay for it to be worthwhile doing. So it's not something I'm going to go over in this particular video. You'd have to be a really big club, and you'd have to want to be using this with other aspects of TT365 for taking payments off your members for other things than just membership, for that to even be realistic at all. But PayPal is free to set up, okay? It's very simple to get up and running. Anyone can create a free PayPal account, and the best thing is to use this particular function with our site. You don't even need to have a business PayPal account. You can just have a standard PayPal account in the name of your club or league, and it's really great. I mean, if you haven't ever used PayPal before for taking money, it is really convenient way of getting, taking money from people that you're not going to see necessarily on a regular basis. So you can read more here on the setup just by clicking that link. Why you should be using PayPal. I mean, I think I've gone over that enough, and basically why you should use it. But to get started, you need a PayPal account. Okay, you can click here. There's a link which will take you off to PayPal, and then you can just sign up here. It's pretty simple. Sign up, away you go. You'll have that up and running in literally a few minutes, and you do it with a PayPal address, which is just an email address. So basically, you probably need an email address to use with it for your organisation. It's usually a sensible thing, I would imagine, for you to do this on an account other than your own personal account. I don't know how advisable it would be to be mixing your own personal PayPal with a club's PayPal account, so I'd suggest you set up a new one. But it's dead simple to do. And then when you've done that, you'll have your PayPal account, which is an email address, and literally all you've got to do is come back in here, type the PayPal address in there, link it to TT365, and as soon as you've done that, it will become tickable in the settings page that we were on earlier. And from that point on, PayPal is then integrated into your website. And when members check out, as long as you've turned the options to allow online payments on your website on, then when they do look to make a payment through your site, then they will get the option to pay by PayPal or, in fact, credit card, because, as I did say, you don't have to have a PayPal account in order to be able to check out. Okay? So that's PayPal. It's the simplest, fastest, quickest method. In my opinion, this is the one you should be looking to use to get going. At the very least, to get going, get this system up and running quick, this is the one I would suggest you use. However, this one here, go cardless. Now, this one is... I really like Go Cardless. I really like the idea of direct debits, and over time, one of our things is going to be to really look to make more use of direct debits within TT365. I mean, once you have a mandate from a customer or a member player, then it really does make taking money for all sorts of things from them extremely simple, and really cut down on the amount of administration that potentially you're going to have to do. I mean, this module is about the subscriptions module. However, as time progresses, and I don't know whether this will be within the next week or the next few weeks or next few months, but there are going to be more and more functions coming into the software that are going to allow you to make good use of direct debits in the future. Perfect example would be if you determine at some point to use let's say on our online tournament entry system, and you want to allow your members to be able to enter your closed tournament through TT365 on your league website. Okay, you could, if you've got a mandate from that customer and they know that you will, I mean, there is a legality around this, but as long as they have been told what the mandate could be used for, when they choose to purchase whatever they're buying from you, will be choosing to pay by direct debit. Therefore, that means they will be expecting the recurring payment. So it really is good. They can go on there, literally click, I want to pay by direct debit, and the point at which they click pay, it instantly takes the money from their account. Now, there is a 3-day sort of process that you then go through with the bank where all the checks get done and everything. So it does take a period of time for that money to end in your bank account. But at the end of the day, it does work. And I think over time, this is probably going to prove to be the most popular payment provider. It's also cheaper. It does say 1%. That should actually be 1.9%, I think. I will have to check that. You've got the minimum fee like with PayPal, 20 pence per transaction. I believe it's 1.9%. We'll get that corrected. So if you want to go ahead and set Go Cardless up, again, it's actually not as complex as you may think. Obviously you're going to need a bank account in order to be able to connect your bank to the Go Cardless account. But you click here, and effectively what it does is it takes you to a registration page, and you need to create an account. It's free to create an account. There's no ongoing monthly costs or anything like that. It's just pay for as you use it. I went to a great effort when I did this to put some very detailed steps on how you progress through all of this, so I'm not going to do that now. But if you are interested in using direct debits or taking advantage of them, go ahead, read through all of this carefully, and get yourself set up. And then when you've done that, there is a section here where you need to link. Now this is the key bit, to link your Go Cardless account with TT365. Now, you need to actually have the account already set up in order to do that. It's pretty simple. You click this link, it takes you to a page. It's going to ask you to log into that page with your passwords and stuff that you've set up. TT365 don't store those passwords. We don't know the passwords. We have no access to your bank account, nothing like that at all. This is a transaction that occurs between you and Go Cardless. All our involvement is purely Go Cardless. You're saying that you enable TT365 to use the Go Cardless API on your behalf, and therefore when someone clicks a link in our software and says, I want to pay by direct debit, we simply send that data to Go Cardless. They do the transaction, they handle all of the security. Their Go Cardless are used by loads of companies, big massive companies use Go Cardless. Talbot and East England also use Go Cardless for their direct debit scheme. It's a leading system out there, so you don't need to be worried about having a go with it. And once you've done that and you've enabled it, again as with the other one, you go back to the settings page, and those options that we were discussing earlier, they will then now be available for you to tick. Before I move on to later elements of this video, I may well set some of these up with my own accounts just to get them working, so you can see. Have to see how the time's progressing. I've now been on. Video is now breaking the hour point, and I'm probably only 2/3 of the way through what I need to show you. So I'm going to move on now. So yeah, I think we're all set up in terms of the subscription settings. So let's just take a look at the next two options that you're going to need to look at, because you can't have a subscription system if you don't have any subscriptions. So you've got two options. You've got subscriptions here, and you've got subscription groups. Now, depending on how complex your membership is, and how many types of membership you've got, will determine what here of these you really need to use. Now, if you do decide you're going to use groups, you're going to need to create those first. Right now, I can think of lots of reasons why you might want to have subscription groups. You have here's some examples of what you might want to use them for. Okay, let's say that you do a more complex club subscription structure. So you've got putting age groups aside, you've got 3 different bands of membership. Let's say you've got a membership band, basic membership band, which just makes you a member of the club, okay, and you just get to go to practice sessions on a Friday night as part of that, and that's all you get. You might have another tier, say silver tier, and that gives you access to, say, a number of coaching sessions that you're allowed to then go to. You then might have a gold subscription group, and again, you might offer different benefits for that. That may enable you to play in a league team in your club, or it may give you access to other benefits or functions from your club. That's up to you. But you can create these subscription groups pretty much as you see fit. Okay, and then once you've got a subscription group, you add subscriptions into it, and you'll see as this video progresses how this can be, quite useful. So what I will do, I will just quickly create a bronze subscription group, and I will show this on all public interfaces. Now there are a few questions you have to sort of answer. Some of these are, you may want to create a group of membership, a membership group to store subscriptions that you want to have available for the club, but you don't want to make purchasable via your website. I can think of, good reason for that could be maybe you have some kind of voluntary subscription. So, if somebody's volunteering heavily in your club, maybe there's a cheaper membership that they're allowed to have, but you wouldn't want people to be able to go and buy it. You'd be something you would give. So you could create a hidden group, but for now, I'm just going to create a public group available here, and it will be participant. This here, participant, is really more about for leagues, and competitive play, and if you're going to be bolting this subscription module at a later date into other functionality within TT365. So if you want to connect your club subscriptions into our league manager module, for example, and create a league which is restricted via the ability to be a participant level player or not, or maybe you bolt into a future module that we've got planned around like a club ladder type of thing, and you have to have a certain level. It's important you go through, read all these help files we've written for you, and be fully aware of how you're setting it up. Okay, so quickly I'm going to just jump through this now and set up another couple of groups. And there you go, they're all set up now. So, like I said, you don't have to do this. Your subscriptions might be really simple. You might literally have one subscription and there's a junior price and a senior price. That might be all you have, and in which case you wouldn't need any of this. But if you do have a more complex system, this subscription script really will help. And you do have the ability to change order. Again, this is quite important. So if you want to change order, you click this button and then you can just drag and drop them up and down as you want. And at any point you can come back and edit them or delete them or do whatever edits you need to this. So into subscriptions, which is probably the most important aspect now, before we can show you the system working. You need to create a subscription which people can buy. Let's just call this the junior, and just leave it simple, junior. Now these are required fields, and I will just take a minute to explain this, because this actually is, whilst this is only text information, it is quite important. These two text boxes effectively say the same thing, but the way in which they're presented on the user interface, they are more, how do I put it? They read in a certain way. So I have put an example of how they should be worded. So this one would read, required to compete in our competition structure. So the junior membership is required to play in, to be a member of our club, required to compete in competitions. You'd say the same thing in a slightly different way. So rather than saying required to compete, it's just to compete in our competition structure. It might seem a little crazy at first, but when you see how it's integrated into the site, it simply wouldn't be. It would just be completely confusing to put that description in the context that it's used. So I would suggest the best way to for you to understand this is to just play around with it. Put something in there you think is right, and wait and see how it's presented, and then come back and tweak it as you feel is necessary. For the time being, I'm just basically going to copy what I put in the a help text. That'll do. That's close. That's close enough. Right, save. So now you're going to get the full edit now, which has got all the options which you're going to need to configure. Okay, so first things first, do we want to make it as part of a group? Well, yeah, I mean, technically speaking, we're going to need, because we've got different subscription groups here now. So theoretically, we would have a junior membership for bronze, a junior membership for silver, and a junior membership for gold. And we may very well charge £20 for bronze, £50 for silver, and £100 for gold, for example. So what I'll do is I'll just set it to bronze for now. And let's just set the cost at, say, £25. We'll leave publish off for the time being. The minute you click publish, it's going to start appearing on your website. So it's probably a good idea that you just get these things set up before we actually publish them. for the purpose of the video, because no one's going to be looking at this now while I'm doing it, I'll just publish it now, but I would suggest you publish them once you're comfortable with it all. Show subscription. This is generally, again, it's very similar to published. Go through the help. Like I say, I'm conscious of the time. I don't want this video to end up being 2 hours long. So I would suggest you go through all of these little help things. It explains what all of these little options all do, and it is important that you get them right. Here's an important one. Obviously, we've got to get our dates right. So we've got the 1st of August as our start date for this subscription, and obviously we're going to want to end it on the 31st of July. Now, one thing I should say is that you are not forced to do an annual subscription. You have the flexibility within this software if you wanted to do a summer membership. So if you wanted to have a membership that started on the 1st of May and ended on, say, the end of July or whatever, just so you could play in a summer competition in your club or whatever, then you can do that. You can create these, can be whatever you want them to be. And this here is the times and dates and times in which these particular subscription is going to be published from. So I'm just going to go ahead and make mine like published now. I mean, that would be instantly live. And I'm going to say that you can purchase this particular membership right until the end of the last day. Although, in all fairness, it would be pretty valueless to buy a subscription that was going to expire in one day. But as we're not doing pro rata, we will do that. Now, next thing you've got is subscription icon settings. This section here, this is so if you recall the membership index, you get those little icons that tell you the type of subscription that you've got. It's just so at a glance you can very easily see. With Table Tennis England, you'll be used to the idea of having a group for associate, a group for player, and a group for license. We've obviously gone with bronze, silver and gold. So what I will do is I will give my label the B tag, and I will select a nice bronzy type of colour, and I think we'll have the foreground colour white. So when we look at that in membership index, effectively we just have the ability to control what that icon's going to look like. This is an advanced option. Again, read the instructions. It's all based around League Manager and whether you're going to link this subscription module with League Manager in the future. You have the option to restrict this particular subscription by age group. Now, as it stands right now, this particular subscription could be purchased by anybody. Senior, junior, veteran, wouldn't make any difference at all. Now, we did create the age groups for junior, senior and veteran earlier on. So, and we've called this a junior subscription, so it does make a lot of sense that we would restrict this particular subscription to juniors only. So if you are a senior, you will not be able to buy this subscription. And this is determined by the date of birth on the member's record, and that works exactly the same way Table Tennis England membership works. Okay, subscription upgrades. This is another important thing. We talked earlier about subscription upgrades. Well, yeah, this is not going to have any content right now because there's no other subscriptions which you can upgrade to. That's simply because this is the first subscription we've created. When we save this subscription, we're going to create the silver, and then we're going to create the gold for the juniors. So, in some respects, it's logical to almost create them when you do them in a backwards order. So the gold would not be upgradable to anything. So therefore, if you did that one first, when you created the silver would be upgradable to gold, and gold would already exist in the list. If I'd have thought about it more before I started this section, that's how I would have done it. And of course, finally, if you then did bronze, then the silver and the bronze would be available to select. But in a moment I shall pause the video and I shall go ahead and set up these other subscriptions so that you don't have to sit here watching me do it for the next 5 minutes. And then the last thing is discounts. Now, we created a 20% discount earlier on. This just gives you the ability to apply it if you want. So you can create discounts, but you don't have to make them apply to every membership type. So for example, and this is where it gets quite interesting, you could do a 10% off brand new junior members in your club. And if you configure the system correctly, then any existing junior would not be eligible. Any senior joining the club would not be eligible. You've created a discount purely for a certain type of member, and through the configuration options you've got available, you can configure these subscriptions to work really nicely. You could have lots of different types of discounts. Again, if your club is so inclined to go down that route. So let's save this up now and close it off. And that's really our first subscription created. I'm going to pause the video here while I get busy and create some more subscriptions, and then we'll be back to carry on. Okay, and I'm back, and hopefully you should now see a lot more subscriptions than we had not that long ago. So while I've been away doing this, what I've also done, I've created a new subscription group for free memberships, because quite often you will have certain types of membership in your club which could be free. A good example could be you may have a free membership for life members of your club or your league. Also, you may offer a free membership for parents or other volunteers. If you want to keep in contact with parents, it's usually a really good idea to get them to have a membership record as well. We're not likely to get them to pay anything, but even the ability to be able to communicate with them is going to be beneficial to your club. And this is a good opportunity really for me to also say that if you're going to use the club subscriptions module, it is a good idea to be looking to use this in conjunction with the advanced email functionality, which you can get more information on that just by clicking into here and looking at the upgrade information. There's a huge amount of functionality available to you if you want to look to upgrade and get this function. But importantly, when you start to use the membership subscriptions properly, when you can link it in with Email Manager Pro, it really does make your life a lot easier, being able to email via different groups and things like that. So again, give that some consideration when you're looking to set this up. And again, yeah, if you've got free membership for parents, then you need to be able to email them, and you need to be able to email them easily and quickly. And you may want to blast all parents of juniors a quick email, just to sort of let them know of a cancellation or a change to something. So the system gives you that ability very quickly once all the data is available to you. So here we go. We've got the subscriptions created. We've got bronze groups, silver groups, gold groups. Now these don't really mean a great deal, to be honest. Bronze, silver and gold. It's not a very real world type of situation, but nevertheless, for the purposes of demonstrating the functionality, I think it does suffice. To put it into context, Tabletop England have the player membership and they have the license membership. And for anyone that can sort of cast their mind back to sort of membership, individual membership days, they used to have licenses with tiers, and they used to have a copy of the old Talbot News was available with their gold package, etc. So you can use this system to be as creative as you really want to be. Now, okay, so let's look to move this on now. Right then, so let's take a look at how you would use the system as an administrator. So this is how you will use the system. So as I said at the beginning, the beauty of this is it's fully integrated into individual membership that you're used to seeing. So as you will now see, we have all of our subscriptions available. I will point a couple of things out here that are relevant. These subscriptions are for the 2017-18 season that we've got currently set up. These are all the ones that are effectively purchasable. And the parent one, when I set that up, I decided to make that a subscription that the parent would need to renew annually. It's unlikely parents will stay involved indefinitely. At some point, the child will either stop playing, or they'll no longer need a parent to be looking after them as they grow up. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the purpose of setting this up to make that a non-expiring membership. So even though it's free, the member would still need to log back in every year and just renew if they wanted to. However, if you have a free membership for life member, well, realistically, once you've given that, you shouldn't have to be renewing that annually. That should just not expire. So when I set these up, I didn't give this a expiry, a start or an expiry date. You give it and it remains for as long as they want to have it. Also, when I set all these up, I set all the relationships that I was talking about between them. So if you've got a junior bronze, for example, the junior silver upgrade is available, and the junior gold upgrade will be available, as you'll see as we progress through. So this is just some dummy data that I pulled out of the database quickly for the purpose of showing you some information here. Let's take this first one. So let's just have a quick look at what we're dealing with. Well, we're dealing with a player that's 2004, so they're sort of 12, 13 years old. So we would expect a junior membership for this particular player. So if we edit this record, this should look familiar to you. You've got the traditional membership record available to you, and then you've got your membership tab, which again you should be relatively used to. Notice how the membership numbers are the same, because we did not turn on your own membership number. However, if you had, that would be a blank box there, and that would be editable, and you would be required to set that value. Also notice the age groups are different, because Untitled England classified this particular member, with them being only 12, 13 years old, as being a cadet, whereas when we set our system up, we only defined an age group for juniors. So as this person is under 18, they would be age group junior. So those are our sort of statuses. Now we can buy both memberships here at the same time. I mean, this is the administrator's view, so you can click on either link, and when you click on either link, it just prioritizes the tab effectively that you get to use. Okay, so let's take a quick look. This is a junior member, so we're only seeing junior subscriptions, which is a good start. All of the everything looks good. You'll notice the prices look a bit strange, because I was choosing things like £25 and £50, £100, but that's because we turned pro rata on for new members, and as you will see, this particular member has never been a member of our club before, so they're getting the pro rata option for brand new member. That is being applied there to their price. I also, when I set the membership subscriptions up, I applied the 20% discount to all of the gold memberships as well. So what we'll do for now, for the purpose of demonstration, we'll click junior and pay. Now you'll see it has created the subscription. It is currently in an unpaid state. Okay. But everything you need to know really is there. Now you could close this down at this point if you needed to, and it's very easy to get back to this point by clicking this little payment icon here. These incidentally will be new buttons. You will not be used to seeing these, because this is something that Untitled England would normally see, but as you are the owner of this membership subscription, you now get the ability to look at the payment histories, open the sales orders, even delete subscriptions. All of this is available to you now. So we have got the subscriptions, and I've spotted a bug which I will note down and get fixed. So the Pro Rata has not applied to the payment. Let's just close this down and see. Yeah, I will have to get that resolved. Really, we were told that the payment was going to be for £18 something. That's what I would have expected to have seen, so I'll get that fixed. But anyway, it's kind of irrelevant for our demonstration. So we now get some payment options. Really, you're only ever going to be so these payment options are system wide. So you may have cash have been given to you, you may have received a check through, you would never be using PayPal, Sage Pay, any of those options here. Backs would be, we would say, for bank transfer, but let's just go ahead and record it as a check payment. We would probably put in a check reference number, maybe there. Record the payment date. We received it on the 29th of this date, and then we would hit pay, and that then makes the payment, records it successfully, and that is now valid. If we go back, we will see the payment record. You can modify the payment data, you can void the payment. You've got a lot of options here. You may very well, you probably hardly ever use any of this functionality, but it is all there if you ever needed it to be. You've got 0 values outstanding, therefore, as far as you're concerned, this person is now paid up and is a fully paid junior bronze member of your club. If we go back to the membership index, their pound icon has disappeared. They've got the new bronze icon which we created when we set up the record. Which is nice, and the notification to say they haven't paid their membership has now disappeared, so that's really good. At the same time, while we're on, it's very easy for us. We'll just get this particular child a junior cadet member for the current season and hit pay. You'll notice we will not this time get presented with the payment screen because, as you will know, Tableting the memberships don't work like that. You'll have a open purchase order now in your finance tab, which you should then settle with Tableting England directly. So very, very similar in how they work, but ultimately now when we go back to the index, both are now showing as paid, and quite nicely you've got the distinguishing icons as well, and then you can use the filters. So if you want to see, all junior bronze members in your club, there you go. Again, this system is only really limited by in the manner in which you set it up. I look forward to seeing the different ways in which clubs and leagues use this software going forward. I'm sure that we will be looking at some point a phase 2 of this project where we'll be looking to add extra functionality that is either suggested or requested as you start to use it, and send in your feedback. And again, if you've got feedback, hit the support tab, bang it in there to us, comes through onto our own software. We can see everything that you put in here, and then we can act upon it appropriately. And you can use that for anything, whether you need support, whether you need to give us a feedback, or you want to make a suggestion, anything you want, just bang it in there for us. So let's just quickly take a very quick jump back into this record again, hit back into membership, buy another subscription. Notice now we are looking at an upgrade. So we are now being told the upgrade. This is Pro Rata. It's got the £25. So the £2 upgrade fee that we added at the beginning built into it, which is quite nice. you will notice that that this is not pro rata, because this is an upgrade. Okay, so what it's doing is it's taking the view that this is not a brand new subscription. This is an upgrade. The person already has a subscription, therefore we're not going to be pro-rating this one as we did the last one. And I think that's logical, and I think that personally would be the correct way to do it. But let's just say that we jump to the junior gold, and while we're on, we'll apply them the 20% discount as well, and we will pay for that. And as you'll see, it has applied the discount, and we'll just record it again as a check and then pay. And there we go. You'll see that it has kept both. In TT365 we try not to remove things if we can. It certainly won't hurt to leave that there. It does clearly demonstrate to you, and it's very easy for you to see at a later date that they did do an upgrade. So if you would get a financial query about why you've got differing amounts that you would normally have, it's very easy for you to see here that you've got a clear upgrade that's happened there. So that's how it would work from your perspective. Now, one thing I will do possibly later is come back here and show you one more aspect of how you might use this. But let's just jump across to the website now, where we should start to see some new things on our membership. So yeah, we've got our information page which we configured with some content. We've got a how to join page which explains how they would renew. You've got the types and fees page. Types and fees is basically where it demonstrates or tells you all the different types and fees. Now, I'm logged in with my account, and I'm classed as a vet according to the age groups we created. So I am seeing the ability to buy the age group, the subscriptions that are relevant to my subscription. Now, bear in mind, this is a player now logging on to your website to buy their membership. Okay, so they need to be logged in. Now, they'll be used to doing this from paying their Talent England subscriptions. They log in the same way, and it's very, very simple login. In fact, it's the same system they use to log in for both, and they'll more than likely already be pre-logged in anyway when they visit your website. All of the other subscriptions that are available are actually listed, but they're all greyed out. That's just so people can see. If you were to visit the types and fees page and you weren't logged in, you would be seeing all of these all available, but there would be no buy button. The fact that you're now logged in, it knows who you are, knows your age group, and it's only showing us the ones that are relevant to you. We've got a subscription page, where this one is basically summarising my relationship in terms of the subscription I've got with your club. So this is sort of saying, I'm not a member at all, so why not want to become a member of Club 365 today? There is the telephone number that we put in earlier on, if you remember, when I said that you have to put that information in for the people to be able to contact you if there's a problem. So when we've purchased our subscription, I as a player will be able to see all of that in here. So we'll come back to this page later and have a look. I think I showed the profile page earlier on. I can see all my personal details, and I have the ability to change my password, look at communications. This currently has nothing really in there because I haven't set anything up with the club. These are based around the advanced email module. So if you have advanced email, which as I've suggested you did, you would have a bunch of different items here available. You may choose to set up some groups here where you can people can opt in or opt out to receive, and this is how they would do it. This would not be grayed out. You'd have the ability to opt in or opt out of whatever you wanted. And then finally there is a history in here. It's a pretty long history because this is one of my accounts. So yeah, the player is empowered. They can see when they logged in. They can see when they've been given permissions to different things. They can see, you know, when information has been updated on their record, and they can see who's actually updated it. There really is a lot of history that they've got to go through here. So, from the perspective of a player, they would visit your website. They'll go to the membership area. They'll look at the types and fees, and they go, "Oh, right, I want to buy the Veteran Gold," and they will click buy. Right. I will deal with that momentarily. So, this now is effectively the confirmation page, and it's summarising that I've got the membership type Veteran Gold, which is what I selected. The price of my membership is £175. I have the ability to apply a discount voucher if I know what the code is. Obviously, we created that at random, so I don't know what it actually is right now. And this here is not something you would normally see. This is because when we were doing setting everything up earlier, we didn't set up the payment options because we had that error, which I've now fixed. So if we tick bank transfer and check, again, if we configured PayPal, that would also be fine. In fact, if we bear with me one moment. Okay, I just took a quick break then, went back in, and I ticked those boxes that I was previously unticked in the subscriptions area. Oh, confusing myself now. Which was here. So I enabled PayPal by just dropping in a random. I just dumped in a random address in the thing just to get it going. That PayPal is now configured. Bank transfer and check are also configured. I haven't set up the Go Cardless or SagePay for the purpose of this. It works in pretty much exactly the same way though. So now when I'm on this page, I've just quickly refreshed it. I can see that the options I've got to pay, I can pay by PayPal, I can pay by bank transfer, I can pay by check. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to buy the bronze, and I'm going to opt to pay by check. I'll show you what that's basically done now. As far as I'm concerned now, as a player, I've been on, I've told you that I want to renew my subscription with you. Okay, I've updated all my information. I've done everything that you would require me to do except pay you some money. Okay, it states now that whilst my membership has been created, it is unpaid. And on the previous page, I was given the address to send the check to and who I've got to make it payable to. So for the purpose of this video, I've already written that check. It's in an envelope now, ready to go. Now I'll be going down the club later tonight and I'll give that to you. And then when you come back the next day into here, and you will nip into the members, find my record and edit my record, jump into the membership, and here we go. You can see it is unpaid, and then you will click on the payment record and you will record the fact that I gave you a check for £25. That would be my check number. Hit pay, much as the same as we've previously done, and now that shows as valid. And if I then go back to my website the next day and refresh, I'm being told, thank you very much, you have a valid Veteran Bronze subscription. I can see it's now valid. Everything I needed to do has now been done. So yeah, there we go. That is it from the perspective of a player. So last thing then, if I go back to here, types and fees, Obviously I can't buy the bronze because I've already got it, so I own the subscription. I could upgrade, so I can upgrade here. It's given me the option taking off the £75 I've already paid off. It's adding the £2 upgrade fee on. So if I do an upgrade now, again it's given me the option here. And if I were to click on here now, basically I won't do it now, but basically what it will do is it will open up a new window. It's going to take me to PayPal. At that point I would either log in or I would enter my credit card details. That will then behind the scenes, the TT365 server talks to PayPal, it does its stuff, the payment is authorized by the credit card companies, the banks, etc. TT365 gets notified, okay, and then when you log back in here, the subscription would be basically showing as valid. So it will automatically create the subscription for you. It'll automatically set the payment status as valid, and if you were to look at that there, you would have a payment record in there for PayPal, the correct amount, the date, transaction numbers, everything you would need to see. Now if you're using PayPal, bear in mind that now PayPal's got money in it, okay, so the fees that are going to get taken are deducted from the money that is paid by the player automatically. So for simplicity, if you were charging £100 and the fees on that were a couple of quid, then you would end up with £98 balance showing in your account in PayPal. If you've never used PayPal before, it is quite simple. You can connect your bank account into it, and then basically what that enables you to do is transfer the money from PayPal into your account. There's no real overhead in doing that. There's no great transaction costs. It's your money. They've already had their sort of share of it. As a general rule, my advice would be, you wait until you've got, a meaningful amount of money and then transfer it across in a batch. You've got financial reports that you can click on here, and you can sort of see purchase orders, sales orders that you have. You can see payments and things in here, so you can see the payments that have been created. You could run a report to just bring back the ones that were done by PayPal, and then you can see all the PayPal money you've had in, and you can make sure that that corresponds with the amount you've got in your account, and then you can take that into your bank. So that, I believe, is actually pretty much it. I mean, it took quite a long time to go through and demonstrate how you would set all of this up, but not actually all that long to show you how to use it, which I'm hoping you would consider to be a good thing, because whilst it means that I would guess if you've already got a club subscription or system in place manually, I would guess it will probably take you somewhere in the region of 20 minutes to 45 minutes maybe to go through and actually set all this up. But once it's up and running, as you hopefully will see, actually using it, especially if you're doing it at a similar time to when you're handling all of the table tennis England renewals coming through your league or your club, it's really not going to add a whole lot of overhead to your workload, but does provide you with a very, very beneficial extra for the work that you have to put in. So I'm going to take a quick pause now and have a look at my notes, see if there's anything that I've missed that I want to show you, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. I've taken a quick look through my notes. Quite happy to say I think I've done probably a very comprehensive run through of the system here. I'm very sorry that I've made you all sit here for the best part of 2 hours. Hopefully you haven't fell asleep or switched off halfway through. There was one thing that I missed, because it's not actually on this system, because this is live. I'm producing this video whilst the rest of the team are just finalising the last few glitches that we're coming across and building the last a few elements of the system, and that is emails. When you when a player purchases through the system, they will get email notifications to say thank you. It'll just basically summarise their purchase, say thank you for buying the bronze adult membership at X price. Just pretty simple, but nevertheless important to have that function there, I think. And also you will have two other items that will be available to you. One is only relevant if you're going to use the direct debit, and that is that if you're going to have members paying you on direct debit for membership, it's going to be taken from their account once per year. A lot can happen in a year. Bank accounts can change, people can change their mind, all manner of different things. There is I'm not sure if this is a legal requirement or if it is just best practice, but I would advise you followed it, and that is that there will be a function in here where you can just click a button, and what it will do is it will go through and say whoever's signed up for direct debit, let's send them an email 3 days ahead of time and say, look guys, the membership is due in a few days, we're going to be taking the money from you in the next 3 days. If you want to cancel, this is how you do it. If your details have changed, this is what you need to do. If you are happy and you want to continue, you don't need to do anything. And that system is already built. It's fully automated. All you need to do is click one button and it'll send that off to everyone that needs to receive it. Fully automated, no extra work for you. And the other thing is you'll have what we would call the renewal notification emails, and you probably will have received these from Talbot England or Talbot Scotland, whereby you will receive an email through that says, hey, your membership's now due for renewal, and just gives you the appropriate information that you'll need. When you're sending the email, you have the ability to edit some of the content, so you can put in, whatever text or messages you want. And the important thing about this is you can send that renewal email 2 or 3, 4, 5 times over a period of a couple of months while you're doing your renewals, and the system automatically filters out those that have already renewed, so you're not going to have to worry about badgering people that have already paid you. The system will only send to people that have not yet renewed through the system. So I think that's also a really useful feature for you to know exists. Again, it's all built in, fully automated. You don't need to do anything other than just click a few buttons and then away you go. So all that is being developed today and tomorrow, and we'll be going live on our next upload. And that really is it. We've almost hit the 2-hour mark now on the video, so I'm going to take one last pause, come back to you with any final thoughts, and then that will be it. Right, okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I hope that you found this this little tutorial how-to video helpful. As I said at the beginning, it's not scripted. I probably could have done this in 2/3 of the time if I were to redo it a second time now. But I hope you found it useful. If there are elements that you don't think were covered in enough detail, please do use the support tab, drop us a mail, however you want, just let us know. If there are areas that you would like more information on, again, let us know. If there are new features that you could think of that would make this more useful for you, or elements that would prevent you from using the system, again, please let us know, and we're always happy to have constructive feedback about how we can improve the modules, and that's not just for this particular module, that's across the entire system. So any sort of thoughts you've got, feed them back into us. We do read all of the emails and all the support things that come through, and they do get logged, and you may well have suggested something several years ago and it still hasn't happened. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We record everything, it goes into our internal systems, and at some point we will get to everything that's suggested. For now though, thanks a lot for your time and listening, and that's me. Thank you. Thanks for watching this short how-to video. You'll find more videos like this on our website. Just go to the help section and click on the how-to menu item. If you've got an idea for a how-to video that we don't currently have, please send an email to howto@tabletennis365.com and we'll do our best to produce one of these as soon as we can. Thanks for watching.